very good. Okay, very good.
Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Hard Factor presented by the Barstool News Network. It is Thursday, October 1st, 2020. You're going to have to tune into radio to hear about the Largini Walk Club and Nardini Run Club half marathon that's going to cap off the end of the Fatathon. And welcome to the show, Large, on that note.
Thank you very much for having me, guys.
Thanks for signing us up for a half marathon.
Enjoy. By the way, I'm out of town that day.
Oh, yeah.
No, okay, sure.
Yeah, I'm bathing lepers in Calcutta, as far as you know.
So we're standing in for you for the Largini Walk Club half marathon.
Yeah, no standing. You're walking.
Walking.
I don't want
Moving.
any fucking standing. We don't have all day.
I feel like largest starting his 5-day Thanksgiving feast while we do.
Can we make that a drinking event so I can get out of it, please?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, them's the rules. Any drinking content Wes can abstain from. The idea of a half marathon seems kind of stupid to begin with, right? Because like a marathon was it was the guy running from one town to another to warn that the army was coming, right? If he'd stopped halfway, then the whole fucking town would have died.
That's what I thought marathon was like.
He dropped
Greek.
dead after 26.1 miles to deliver the message.
Really? It was started in the United States? Is that what you're saying?
No, it was
Greece.
Greece.
Yeah, I thought it was Greek. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, it was the Battle of Athens. What I'm saying is, a half marathon, then everyone in Athens would have died, or because he would have just given up. It's kind of stupid.
Well,
That's what
we're going to be lucky to
a
get
baton
13.
pass, right? Two of these guys, yeah.
We're going to be lucky to get 13. I don't know how long it's going to take us. The results will be comical, though.
I did the math. If you do 15-minute miles, it's like 195 minutes, like 3 hours and change. 3 hours and 15 minutes. Yeah.
So the marathon comes from the legend of Philippides, the Greek messenger, and the legend states that he was sent from the battlefield of Marathon to Athens to announce that the Persians had been defeated in the Battle of Marathon. So, there you
They
go.
probably invented like a horse carriage thing right after that fucking bullshit.
We're going to be
collapsed and
doing
died,
half
so-
of that
Yeah.
on the 25th of November, it looks like. So,
Yeah.
all right. We got 4 big stories today, none bigger than the one that Wes is leading us off with. Wes, tell us all about the Proud Boys, please.
All right, I would love to. So, yeah, one of the big quotes of the night last night was when President Trump was asked, to denounce some of the violent and or racist organizations that support him, like the Proud Boys, and that's when he said, "Proud Boys, stand back and stand by." He was blaming the violence in America on Antifa, which Biden said is not an organization but an idea. After that, Trump said somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left because this is not a right-wing problem. And I'll admit I didn't really know who the fuck the Proud Boys were. Do you guys have any idea who they were when that was said?
No.
Okay.
I knew that Joe Rogan has their leader on his podcast, maybe something like that.
He said, he did. He said he's not that. He said he's just an all-around pretty fun guy, mainly.
I know.
Talks about him. I've heard about him on that.
They're the
One of
people
guys
that
is
led the Charlottesville.
The co-founder of Vice was one of the guys.
That's right.
Right.
Yes.
It's a weird history.
Which is unusual because it's Vice.
I thought that Trump was doing a QAnon thing when I heard. I was like, stand down, stand by. What
it
the
was
hell
weird.
does that mean?
To me, they're like the equivalent of Antifa on the right. What are we doing?
Yeah. So anyway, this little synopsis: they were founded in 2016 by Canadian British right-wing activist Gavin. Is it McInnes?
That's
or
the guy.
McClines?
Something.
Yeah. Not some redneck in Mississippi like I thought in my head for a long time when I heard that. They are far right, anti-immigrant, all-male group, and they're known for violent conflicts with Antifa. Like in Portland.
Wait, they're gay?
Huh?
No.
They're a gay group?
No, they're just all dudes. If
No, they're
dudes
proud.
getting together,
it's
they're
not
proud.
It's not Pride Boys. It's Proud
Brotherhood,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
will.
Okay.
Yeah, they're proud of
Large,
their manhood.
I see your name is Proud Boy 69 today in the chat.
I didn't know them either. Like I know that what day is it? So Wednesday afternoon, sometime around 6 o'clock, I told you guys that Trump walked through the Rose Garden and took back the thing saying, "I tell the Proud Boys, who I never heard of, to stand down." And they said, "What about everything else? Anybody else who causes violence unduly or something like that, stand down." That's what he'd said. So that's how he kind of backtracked it today. Mm-hmm. I don't know if can I say that I didn't know who they were? I honestly didn't know who the Proud Boys were.
Neither did I.
To Pat's point, I would have guessed like a gay boy band or something because it does have the pride type thing in it, and it might have been the hottest band ever. And now I'm reading on just the Wikipedia page. They named it after the song "Proud of Your Boy" from the Disney musical Aladdin. So I guess it is kind of a spoofy take on it. But I think it's telling that, you know, there's 5 guys on this panel now, and 5 guys who are relatively plugged in or at least listen to the news on a regular basis, and we had like a passing knowledge of them. But if somebody said Antifa, I know Antifa, and Antifa's not an idea. It's a group, and they all wear black, and they, you know, like the whole deal.
Yeah, they
don't have the gravitas that Antifa did until last night, and that's something that, you know.
I don't think there are as many members of the Proud Boys as there are of Antifa, and they're not as active. They like pick and choose. Like they were the leaders of the Charlottesville rally, which was like, you know, you will not replace us, talking about the Jews, and that's when they ran over the lady in the car and killed her. And then they also did a
that guy was a Proud Boy?
That whole thing was organized by the Proud Boys.
Well, that was early Proud Boy days. So I don't know if that guy was
2016.
officially a Proud Boy, but he would have been a Proud Boy.
He wanted to be a Proud Boy. He was auditioning for Proud Boys.
Yeah,
and then
what's the Cub Scout program for the Proud Boys called?
Right.
The Proud Lads. Weeblos. I bought cookies off of my
Weeblos, yeah.
And then they did like an event in Portland, you know, to counter like Antifa and some of the Black Lives Movement people.
Yeah.
And they thought they were gonna have thousands of people last weekend, and only like 150 showed up. So I don't think there's like a ton of Proud Boys.
No, they're not as big as the Antifa movement.
Better kempt, though. Very well. They kind of originated the fuckboy haircut.
Nice, yeah.
You saw. Remember the guy that got knocked out at Trump's inauguration? Richard, what's his name?
Yeah,
Spencer.
Spencer. I feel like he's Proud Boy material.
Yeah, well, they're known for wearing these like these Fred Perry polo shirts. So they like roll around with like, you know, AKs and then these polo shirts. But
they're
they
great golfers.
like
Out of all the hate groups, the lowest handicap by far.
They've been classified by a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center, which is like a big civil rights organization. So they're definitely a hate group. Pat, do you want to play that very masculine song that from Aladdin that they're inspired from?
I'd be really glad to.
Okay.
A meme of the guy who's like standing there. I forget. I don't know. There's a famous meme where one of those guys is wearing this polo.
Hey, David, as soon as we're done fucking, would you like to go yell at some immigrants?
You love hating and perfect pitch too.
Yeah.
So they won. They won the debate last night because everyone's talking about them today. They changed around their logo this morning to include stand back, stand by, or whatever. So I mean, you talk about no press is bad press. This is huge for them. So if you happen to be into show tunes and hatred, boy, do I have a place where you can go.
Hold on. Wes was fucking with us because that's Alan Menken, the guy that.
No, they used it as a joke.
They stole Alan Menken? Oh,
that's where they came up with the name. That's their song. So,
I'm sorry.
They were so happy. They were so happy, Large. One guy was videotaped like audibly gasping in excitement when Trump said it. He was like, ah! He couldn't like contain his excitement.
Right.
So wait, they're still happy even though Trump walks it back?
Doesn't
No,
matter.
they're definitely happy. I'll get to it. So they first a little bit more about them. In order to like, you know, be a Proud Boy, where is it? You have to declare that you are a Western chauvinist who refuses to apologize for creating the modern world. Basically, from what I gathered, it sounds like they want a mixture of like 1950s America and Nazi Germany. That's like their ideal situation.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah,
housewives, you know,
Ayn
they
Rand's
hate
wet dream.
They hate welfare. They hate immigrants. They want to close the border, bring back the
How do they feel about
housewife,
women?
give everyone a gun.
Yeah, exactly. How do they feel about women? Housewife?
They want them in the kitchen is what they want. Is how they feel about women. They want to,
which is terrible because a 2-income household is much easier to manage. At least in my limited experience.
Oh my God, I try to send my wife out to work as often as possible.
Shit.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna have, you know, they have equal rights now, so you got. I mean, you know, the whole thing. You got that means equal work, right? So,
yes, they should be allowed to do whatever the fuck they want, right? So the current leader Enrique Torrio, they're not all. You think they'd be a bunch of like, you know, racist white dudes, but they're not all white.
How'd he get in?
Yeah, I don't know how he got in. So he's like their chairman now. He took to like some 4chan type network and responded to Trump saying, "Standing by, sir. I will stand down, sir." And then the original guy, this McGinnis guy. Oh yeah, there's a picture. There's a picture. The Antifa hunting permit on this guy's Antifa on this guy's.
It's always
bicycle
hunting
helmet.
season.
Yeah, it's always hunting season. So then the original guy, this McGinnis guy, he took to the internet too and was like, "I control the Proud Boys, Donald. Do not stand down. Do not stand back." But like Large said, they love this. They love this so much they included it in their new logo. Like this is huge for them. But they are, like I said, they're just not such a great group to.
Have there been actual
partner
violence? Like how much crime and murders? Like what's been tied to them recently?
The Portland protest is the most recent thing that they just clash with Antifa a lot. I don't think
create
they're out.
violent situations.
Yes,
basically.
yeah. They're not the. I don't know. I don't want to speak and be like they're not out there burning, businesses and shit. But they definitely create violence.
Well, here. I got a good quote for this moment from Buddha Ben. He just tweeted this out. He said, "Imagine how much real change could happen if the Proud Boys and Antifa conserved all their negative energy and joined forces with the positive movement like Storm Area 51." So
there you go.
Think about that.
Or fund our pack for legalizing political gambling and weed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
No, feline AIDS, anything. It's just one of those things where Buddha Ben kind of, he's the voice of reason compared to the Proud Boys. So
Except
like
when you get texting with him after midnight, he's like a gremlin. After midnight, the conspiracy theories really start coming out of Buddha Ben. Oh yeah, big time. I mean, I don't mind. It's always fun, but
California is so hard to live in now that Buddha Ben almost became a Proud Boy after living there for like 6 months. That's how left the California.
Oh no! Look at that. This recent tweet shows he's figured it out. He's found his chi. He's back pushing for more Storm Area 51 people.
There you go.
Yeah.
I never hung out with Buddha Ben, and because I think he thought I was a cop. And then towards the end, before he had left, his last event with us was the last pop punk show in Long Island, and we started hanging out. We were having a really good time. He's a fucking gem of a guy.
He's the best guy.
And he handed me he doesn't smoke joints. He handed me this wet cigar packed with weed. I'm not a big weed guy, but it was like, I was visiting, a witch doctor. It was like ayahuasca. It would have been kind of rude to say no. I wound up just sucking down somebody else's saliva with this like raw smoke and shit like that. I was stoned to the bejesus.
Did he say to you beforehand, "Hey, Large, you ever get wet?"
No, he didn't hit me with that. This is pre-corona, obviously, because that's no bueno.
Yeah, his smoking method is definitely not the preferred method for corona. So that took a hit. His backwoods circles.
Getting wet's a little more intense than just smoking a blunt.
So what are the chances that, from your guys' perspective, like I think Trump had treated the question last night as if to say, if I denounce whoever they say, right, then they need to denounce, so Joe needs to denounce Antifa. Right. And if Joe denounces Antifa, he's going to lose the left because Trump kept saying that. You just lost the left.
Right.
So is that what put him on the defensive and just said, stand down, stand by or something? Or was there more to it from, a conspiracy type Buddha Ben after midnight theory that Trump's I secretly support what these guys are doing?
Do I think in Trump's heart of hearts he supports the Proud Boys? Absolutely not. Do I think it's possible it was a Freudian slip to energize his base? Maybe
well,
not.
that's very different. He just won't disparage anyone who supports him, no matter what they stand for. So if it's David Duke, he's not going to disparage the KKK.
I don't think
he will. He's against the KKK.
He is on record disparaging actually David Duke,
but not during the 2016. He came out after.
I don't think Trump's on 4chan trying to energize
way
the Proud Boys,
back.
but I guarantee you he knows who they were before he lied tonight about not knowing who they were.
Look, I don't like the feeling of having to wonder that large, wondering, well, is this guy a genuine racist or not? Maybe what I'd like to see is maybe something not like an apology in the Rose Garden, but something that's like, that's got a little bit more meaning to it to show, his true feelings about the issues. I don't know, but it just seems like if all he can do is damage control after fucking up on every time in these types of situations, it starts to add up, and you start to wonder, well, what is your true feeling about it?
Does he shout it from the rooftops? I mean, I know that's not Trump. I've always said, like, a guy like OJ or a guy, guilty people, innocent people, I tend to listen to people when they get on TV. I didn't do it. I didn't fucking do it. Not when you jump into a Bronco and take off for a while. Like, I like when people kind of come to the forefront. So if in retrospect he finds out he fucked up last night, like I would love to see a rebuke, an open rebuke that's just so, not typical of him, where he's like,
absolutely,
fuck them. No, I don't support them.
Yeah, I would like to see something more strong, because the feeling of Americans having in their head of like, well, I'm still wondering, is he racist or is he not? You shouldn't have that feeling in, sitting there thinking about the president of the United States.
Yeah,
I mean, he can't control these crazy groups that have just latched on to
but
him.
he can
obviously.
control all the fuck ups, like he in his speeches, the Charlotte.
He can control the tone and the rhetoric. Yeah,
I totally agree.
Biden also needs to change his tone on Antifa. It's not an idea.
Yeah.
There are human beings out there burning buildings and stuff. So he needs to change that tone. But he's also not the president giving addresses all throughout coronavirus to the United States or addressing Charlottesville or addressing these things where it's always Trump saying, well, I don't know about these other groups, but I hate Antifa.
Biden,
it's like, well, what are you talking
Biden was
about?
quoting the FBI director, I believe. And yeah, I think what the FBI director was saying is that
Come on.
Antifa's not like an organized. I'm not saying there aren't.
It wasn't a direct quote. Yeah, it was. I saw the clip.
Who's worse, the Proud Boys or Antifa?
They're neither. I
Anyone who's
not
not
apples to
social
apples.
asshole trouble.
I think that there have been some reports. I was looking the other night after the debates, and these might have been from left-wing organizations, but some pretty serious journalistic organizations that said that the higher terroristic threat domestically is alt-right-wing groups. That includes more groups than just the Proud Boys, but in terms of violence and deaths, alt-right-wing is much higher than Antifa. Antifa's more like destroying buildings and throwing piss balloons at people and being jackasses, but the violence comes from the alt-right.
Well, it gets them a lot more notice, that's for sure, because that's what all the news is covering right
they're
now.
probably
Them
more
burning down
armed,
businesses
right?
and shit.
Yeah, these other guys don't have guns. They have hacky sacks and slingshots.
Right.
Yeah.
And plus, they were also talking about the police. Trump didn't want to lose his, he supports
Both
the
sides
police
don't
and
want
all
to lose
that
their
kinda-
base. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So it was all over the place.
So what do you ask him in the second debate, the town hall thing? If you're like, hi, I'm Hard Factor Pat, I have one question to ask you.
Well, I think I would be like, hey, bro, are you gonna legalize prostitution and gambling in all the states? Because that's what the B is about. That's my number one. No, but I think Wallace did an awesome job of trying to pin everyone down. I hope during the next one, the biggest bombshell out of the debate was the Proud Boy endorsement or the perceived Proud Boy endorsement. So I think people are going to pin him down on that. We'll see.
I think they should invite that guy with the beard that had the Antifa hunting season and have him ask a question to Trump and see how that goes.
That'd be great.
The leader of
I second that.
Proud Boys. Yeah,
Yeah, they should get. Yeah, and they should get an Antifa guy in there to ask Biden questions.
exactly.
That would spice things up a little bit.
Yeah.
But you don't know. But they don't have a they don't have a
You're gonna
leader.
invite
You just have to find some loser on the streets because they don't have an actual leader. Antifa.
Right.
It's just
Come on down to Case Western. Joe Rogan is here. I just can't believe it. I know I'm going to be hopping soon, but I can't believe that we're talking about presidential election where Joe Rogan would possibly be the the moderator. There was a
Seriously.
drug test that was supposed to be administered, and then there's
Fake
supposed to be
earpiece.
wanded down for any kind of hearing devices and stuff like that. It's the shoe bombs and shit like that. It really feels like flying after 9/11. It's blowing my
surreal.
mind. So.
yeah.
Do you think Rogan would have been a better moderator than Wallace? Because that was the big question online there.
I don't think so. I mean, I thought that Wallace did a relatively good job for the shit show that he was thrown into. I think maybe it was Pat on the show this morning had said, or somebody had said, you know what? It wasn't him. It was Stu Feiner who said, once they agreed to be in that forum, he was no longer president. He had to abide by the rules of the debate that they agreed to. Stu Feiner said that, dropping knowledge in between talking about eating ass.
Say it or scream it. Yeah.
He always
He's got to be a pro debater, yeah. So he knows.
So it's just so tough to go and tell the president to quiet down, or even like Biden. I think it is tough to sort of wrestle that and then keep your stuff in order. I think it would have been overwhelming for Joe Rogan.
I think so.
I just
too.
think so.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, put yourself in Chris Wallace's shoes. He's an anchor on Fox News. So for an hour and a half, he's got power over the president, and then for the rest of his career, he's fucked. He's
Right.
yeah, Trump could exact some revenge on him.
I think Joe Rogan probably wouldn't have been able to help himself. He probably would have thrown a jab at Trump for being so interruptive, and it might have gotten a little personal between them.
Trump wouldn't have interrupted Rogan. He respects alpha males.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, hey, let's hear a word from our sponsor.
All right, guys, let's take it to Caliper. Who says taking care of yourself needs to be hard, right? What's great about CBD is that it helps you feel better without making drastic changes to your routine. Better sleep, calmer. Sounds pretty nice, huh? But are droppers full of funny-tasting tinctures the best modern science has to offer? Not a chance, and tinctures taste like shit. Meet Caliper, a better way to consume CBD. Unlike CBD oils, Caliper CBD powder is completely tasteless and mixes easily in any food or drink. 20 milligrams in each packet. Never question how much CBD you're taking again. I used to put it in my tea at night, helped me sleep, immediately calm me down. I know you guys do the same thing. It's amazing.
It makes your sleep just absolutely
thank
incredible.
you. Thank you.
Your sleep fucks when you're on Caliper. There's no doubt about that.
You get the most restful sleep you have ever had in your entire life.
It's true.
After having 20 milligrams of Caliper CBD.
How'd you sleep?
Fuck you guys. Your body is mostly water, and oil and water don't mix. CBD oil is no different. 450%.
It's like Proud Boys and Immigrants.
Exactly. 450% more absorption with Caliper CBD power compared to tinctures, and that's absolutely wild. It's incredible. Caliper gives you all the benefits of CBD in just 15 minutes, about twice as fast as the oils. Individual packets give you the benefits of CBD wherever you go. All natural, non-GMO, no fillers, added chemicals, or artificial flavors. Get 20% off your first order when you use promo code FACTOR at trycaliper.com/factor. You can try CBD risk-free, Caliper CBD risk-free for 30 days. If you don't love it, they'll give you a full refund. That's trycaliper.com/factor. Don't forget promo code FACTOR for 20% off your first order.
Nice.
Awesome.
All right, Large. Are you heading out? Is this it for you?
I'm gonna head out. I got to do that other thing with that other guy, the Vanilla Gorilla, the albino
the dairy farmer.
Hey, tell Tanner it's not natural for human beings to drink another animal's milk.
You're damn right I will.
Make sure to check out Large.
There you go. Go ahead. You got it.
You do it.
All right, Large will be on our radio show today, Hard Factor Radio. Check it out.
Also, check out Large's radio show, Barstool Breakfast, on Sirius XM Power 85.
Later,
or
Large.
not. It doesn't fucking matter. I'll see you at the next rally. See you, boys.
All right.
All right, guys. Did anyone listen to that podcast from 2018? I know the answer to this because I know you guys too well. But there's this podcast from 2018 that the New York Times dropped called Caliphate. It was a 10-part series.
We didn't.
I know that you didn't. I know you fucking didn't. I did. I know you guys didn't. But anyway, it was a 10-part series from the New York Times, and it was essentially about ISIS. So Rukmini Callimachi, that's how you say her name. She did this massive research project figuring out ISIS, and she focused in on one Canadian guy, Abdu Hasafaya, I think. Anyway, this guy became radicalized and then traveled to Syria to join ISIS and then ended up working as one of their executioners. And the podcast was fucking massive. It won a Peabody Award, and Rukmini was named a finalist for the Pulitzer Prize in the category of international reporting for her work.
Yeah.
Pretty big deal, right?
It's an intense story.
Yeah. Well,
Caliphate.
Never respected Peabody, but
no, I know. By the way, Peabody, I looked it up. That's just such a little bitch award. It's like this big. It's
what I was saying.
They could have made it bigger.
Sounds terrible.
Anyway, my point is, and the point of the
Moron
story,
award.
right? It's not good. The point of the story is, guys, this fucking Canadian dude that was the subject of the documentary, he was lying. It was a hoax. They don't know if he was ever in Syria at all, which is real bad for Rukmini Callimachi.
Whoa! It wasn't. So she wasn't in on it. It wasn't like a Sacha Baron Cohen or like a Orson Welles War of the Worlds podcast. It was.
Oh, by no means. She 100% thought it was real.
Not so thorough.
Yeah. Not good. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police announced the other day, probably from a horse, that Chaudhry, the guy's actual name is Shiroz Chaudhry, his story about being in ISIS is a quote hoax.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
So when you come up with an idea like this, are you just down on your luck and like or is this just like your thing? You're just conning people.
I don't know. I mean, have you ever thought maybe I'll lie about going over to Syria,
your whole life,
being radicalized?
Well, that's
telling
my next
it to
question
major
to
news
you, Pat.
publications.
I don't know. That's so crazy.
Was he an aspiring terrorist? It's like Three Lions, that comedy movie. Was he at least like? Did he want to join ISIS?
Was he like at least?
Or was this completely like
at least an
fictitious?
amateur?
And he never even wanted. He never even tried to like look up how to make a bomb type thing.
Yeah, no. It turns out he was just bored. No,
That's crazy.
I'm kidding. I don't know. They don't know how much of his story is a hoax. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police did not outline what investigators knew about Chaudhry's trips to Syria, or if they can even confirm that he even traveled there. Police also did not disclose whether they believe Chaudhry fabricated the entire story about being an ISIS member, or whether it was just specific details that he disclosed. Dude, in this podcast, this guy describes in such graphic detail executing humans. And it was so fucking graphic, I had to turn the pot off a couple episodes ago.
Wow, so he's just a fantasy writer, like a sick horror writer, yeah.
I guess so, but then I guess Canada just introduced these terrorism hoax laws, because I guess this is becoming a problem where people are lying about being terrorists.
Well, I mean, we've seen
That's not
stories.
good.
Look at stories in America. There's all the hoax about people getting beat up and whatever, by I got my ass kicked by whoever, So
But when there's smoke, there's fire. If people are like pretending to be terrorists, that's close to becoming terrorists.
Exactly. I think like part of so this guy making up a story about going to Syria to become an ISIS executioner, that made it on the New York Times, it made it on CBC, it was like he sold his story everywhere.
It's like a cry for help. He's like, if you don't catch me, I'm gonna become one.
I'm gonna go radicalize,
Yeah.
Mom.
no, I'm pretty sure he just duped the fuck out of all of them.
But also it also is
no, he just duped them. This is a duping.
But it's also effectively a recruiting tool. I think that's why it's illegal. That's why they put
right.
It. Yeah.
Well, he was mostly getting money for it. Yeah.
Oh no, I think it was for the good of ISIS. I don't think he was getting paid. The New York Times probably didn't pay him.
Really?
Yeah.
I think he was working with ISIS. Yeah. So that movie's called Four Lines. Have you guys seen that? The British comedy from 2000.
Yeah, that's a great movie. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
It made terrorism fun again.
It was awesome. It was hilarious.
That movie was funny as shit.
It was funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like, what made terrorism? There was another.
Oh, just
terrorist
it being
comedy.
terrorism was terrible. That
Well-
was not fun.
Team America.
Team America.
Team
That
America.
was a pretty good
The
one.
Dictator.
Yeah, the dictator.
But the Four Lines was the first one that I ever saw where the terrorists were protagonists, not antagonists.
Yeah.
Well,
they
kinda.
were like
Kind of rooting for them.
They were like, what's Deadpool like an anti-hero or whatever? Like they're
Yeah,
neither.
they're
Anti-hero,
anti-heroes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Great film though. Great film. Well, that sucks, Pat. That's fake. I'm
Yeah, I'm
do you
sorry your
feel
favorite
gypped?
podcast was
Yeah, do you feel
fake.
gypped now that you listen to it and you're like, well, now it was fucking fake. The
How
whole
many
time.
people did you tell about this stupid fucking
a lot,
podcast?
bro. I was telling everyone about this pod. It was good. The New York Times.
You got to
did
call
release
some people.
The New York Times did release a statement saying that they addressed in the episodes that featured this guy that his story could have been embellished, but like I don't even remember that. Like that's the whole point. It's like
Well,
I
this
don't
guy's a good
remember that they
actor.
said maybe the facts didn't check out. I just remember like, hey, this fucking guy got radicalized. I've retold this story 100 times.
Right.
This-
It just seems like he's a really good actor, like Mark said.
Right, yeah, if they give him like a neurological test and prove that he wasn't working with ISIS, and like maybe they should get him into acting
yeah.
when they're done
Maybe-
arresting
Well,
him.
maybe
the jail
open a
sentence.
Peabody.
Yeah, after the jail sentence, of course. Yeah,
Right. Definitely not getting the Peabody.
I'm gonna take that back.
The Peabody is off the table.
He could smuggle that into jail. He could
Yeah,
keister the
up his
Peabody.
butt. Ship that back. It's not going to cost a lot. I'll tell you that much.
It's a big win for the mounted police. You don't hear about them breaking things too often.
No,
Yeah,
I
good for
agree.
them.
Yeah.
Well, they
All
are
right.
professionals. All right, moving on. We're gonna go back to the debate a little bit. Like we were just talking about, it was a shit show. So the group that sponsors the presidential debates said it may make format changes to the next showdown between President Donald Trump and Joe Biden in order to quote unquote maintain order. And
Good call.
Yeah. Well,
Law and order?
no, well, potentially, but just order in this case, I think, not laws. But the most notable suggestion they're considering, you guys saw it all over social media during the debate, was the ability of the moderator to mute the mics. So
Yeah, we all called that. I mean,
Yeah.
that seemed easy to do.
Mike Mutin could be on the way. And Joe Biden says this: I just hope there's a way in which the debate commission can control the ability of us to answer the question without interruption. He not only attacked me constantly and my family, but he attacked the moderator, says Joe Biden, who is obviously playing the victim, because he was. Trump was definitely bullying the shit out of him.
Yeah, he was.
and so Joe's, he's not being sheepish about taking the opportunity to be the lamb in this case. And then the Trump campaign says that the Biden campaign is only pushing for this because they got humiliated by Trump's constant bullying.
also true.
Yeah. So it's just ridiculous back and forth reaction here from the committee considering the mic mute, which they should do. They should mute the mics because Trump will not stop interrupting. But this reaction back and forth is making me feel like Trump and everybody's sort of sliding back in to the rigged election versus you're a racist, like 2016.
Yep.
Playing the
Trump's
hits.
side saying this is rigged against us, like they're changing the rules, they're muting my fucking mic, they're doing all this shit, it's all rigged. And then the other side is, well, you can't denounce you can't denounce white supremacy, you're a racist. So it's rigged because that was 2016. It was the election is rigged versus you're a racist.
There's a gray area, but isn't there a little bit of truth to both of those? Like they're playing the hits. Like
Well, sure, but
is,
they're just both
It
sides
is a little
playing
bit.
the hits.
It is a little bit rigged against Trump. Look at the media, and Trump
he's
is telling
ballot
people to
harvesting
stand by
stuff.
it, and he hasn't denounced a white supremacist
Right.
group in like 16 years, 4 years. Not Charlottesville, you name it. So I mean, there's a little bit of truth to both those.
It
in
just
my
feels weird to be sliding back into that same thing. That's what I
play the
remember
hits.
from the 2016. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
2016
At this point, you're not going after new voters. You're just your whole game is to rile your base up enough to go and fucking
Right.
vote. That's it.
Just whipping up the
Vote
troops.
or defend your
Vote or
honor
die.
when the other candidate runs away with the election through all this fraud. Blood will run on the street.
Protect
no
the
one's-
SCOTUS.
No one's running
Activate
away.
SCOTUS.
No one's running
Yeah.
away with it, and that's why we won't know.
Someone's
until
gonna win
December.
it, and then other people
eventually.
will die because that other person won it. I guarantee that.
We'll talk. Yeah, let's get to
that-
predicted.
That would
Hold
be,
on.
That's dark, but that's either side.
Okay, well, we have a lot of dark futures to predict here. First off, though, the next vice president debate, October 7th, and then the presidential debate, October 15th. We're going to be live streaming, don't worry. All right, now let's go to predict it. The market, like Cousin Mike accurately predicted on the post show after the debate, didn't really change that much. Biden got a 2-point upward swing. I didn't really see anything that was shifting for me. Texas got lower, cheaper for red. So I mean, to me,
that's great.
To me, that feels like you're pretty good there. Hammer that 73 red in Texas. Also, North Carolina switched from being a red to a blue. So if you already were in North Carolina on red, I would probably buy that dip. And similarly, I think Biden.
We're from Virginia, and I'm very familiar with North Carolina, and I'm going to go red on that. I'm going to bet money on that.
I'd buy that dip. Yeah, he's now better than a double up in North Carolina. And similarly, I think Biden in Minnesota, a state that's like never, ever voted for a conservative in a very long time. Biden is at 77 there. That feels like a Texas-style deal.
Which one is this?
For the Dems. Minnesota.
Yeah, I like that. I like that bet. Blue.
Yeah. Yeah. So those are the picks. Nothing really changed, but it did make some states a bit of a sweeter deal.
Yeah,
Nice.
Texas discounted
Just a
the
little more
price
money
of
for
free
us.
money.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey. All right, guys.
All right.
All right, guys.
Guys, sorry.
ahead.
Don't forget. Go to predictit.org/promo/hardfactor20 to get your first $20 matched on us in the stock market or politics so you can get in on those better, improved rates in those states.
That's where the magic happens. All right, guys, let's close it down with a fun stuff. Some triple of living things that are doing quite well during 2020. I'm, of course, talking about animals, so let's go on a little safari. First up, another group of scientists wasted grant money researching the tone in bird songs. And this time, in a study published...
This is like the ones
Yep.
where they were high. Yes.
Yeah.
Jazz.
They're just
Again? No,
this happened
this
again.
is the same story.
No, this is a different state and different group of nerd scientists that wasted
Who
a
the
different
fuck
group.
is giving
Yeah.
these guys funding? This is a
And
waste
this
of cash.
This time, they didn't
fraud.
drug them. This time, in a study published this past week in Journal Science, one of the larger nerd document periodicals, they claim that the white-crowned sparrows, a very common sparrow in San Francisco, has altered the tone of its bird song to be more appealing or more sexy during quarantine. And the theory is that with what you just heard back there, potentially, traffic noise is down 50% during coronavirus. So now these male birds don't have to scream over
They're
traffic.
strutting their stuff.
So now they're practicing. They're honing lower tones, slower tones, and they're practicing their pitch apparently.
finesse. They don't have to
Yeah,
yell. They
little
can
finesse.
finesse it now.
That's exactly right. Elizabeth
Guys
Derry,
are really exploring the space. It's amazing.
a person named Elizabeth Derryberry, a behavioral ecologist at the University of Tennessee, said, "The birds sounded better. They sounded sexier." And I would say let's keep her away from the male sparrows.
That's not a real name.
Yeah, Derryberry. Come on.
It's like a sorbet
She's
flavor.
just naked,
Yeah.
surrounded by sparrows.
Oh, she's listening to Okay, next up.
All right.
Oh, there's no traffic.
Them sing.
She's screaming at people honking their horns. Shut up! Next up.
Listen to the lower tones.
This one is psychopath. What is wrong with these scientists? This one is one where the headline is you have to do it. You have to do the story. It's a polar bear in Canada attacked and damaged a helicopter. So that's pretty much it. Nothing
Right.
to the story.
I was wondering why you covered that story. I was looking I was eyeing it as well, and there wasn't a lot of substance there.
No one was in the helicopter. No one got hurt. It was superficial damage.
In a parking lot somewhere.
It was just like parked, and a polar bear fucked it up.
Is
Proving
there a
that
picture of it at least?
Yeah, there is. It's not even that great. It's got the only cool part is there's a huge muddy bear print on the window. Like you can see the size of the polar bear hands, like the entire window, like the size bigger than your head. The paw.
I thought it was like a Jurassic Park situation where
yeah.
they were trying to take off and the
too.
polar bear was just pulling them down.
Me
Is that
too.
the scariest?
That's what I wanted.
Is that the scariest paw you can see come up on a window? Is a bear paw, or would it be scarier to see like a gorilla mitt?
Based on the size of the bear
or a tiger paw.
Polar
I think
bear's
the bear paw.
humongous.
It's the size. It's bigger than it goes over the window, like past the
Biggest
window.
bear in the world. It's
I'd be
huge.
more scared of the paw that's like huge.
But a tiger might be able to get you out of the car better. Than
Gigantic human hand is easily the scariest.
You asked
humans.
paw
Well, yeah, humans have guns and stuff. I'm talking
No,
about
I'm talking about like a huge human hand, like a hand,
like the Big Show's
Yeah,
hand.
like, that couldn't be a
Big
huge,
Show's hand would be
It
scary.
looks
That
like
would
a
be
human's
scary.
hand, but there's
That
no
would
way
be
a human
scary.
could have a hand that big. That
Okay.
would be way worse.
Polar bear or enormous hand, human hand. Yeah.
Enormous human.
With like a Coke fingernail.
Yeah, but that's it for the polar bear story. Nothing really happened. They're just, bebopping and scotting in Canada because all animals are doing pretty good in 2020. And lastly, in a feel-good story to send you all on your merry way today, a group of mountain bikers in Morganton, North Carolina, stopped when they came across a 30-foot deep sinkhole and saw a dog at the bottom of it. I guess it's not too surprising that they came up on a sinkhole, considering they were biking on Sinkhole Trail at Pisgah National Forest. So it wasn't the sinkhole that alarmed them; it was the dog barking down there. So they looked down there and they're like, "Fuck!"
How do you take your dog to the sinkhole park?
Yeah, well, it didn't have a collar or a chip, so it probably wasn't. It probably was like a runaway. I don't think it was and it had been there for multiple days. But these people on the bikes were like, "Fuck, we got to do something." But even with our, mountain bike gear, we're not equipped to go 30 feet down and get this, like, rappel and get this dog. So they went and got rescuers. The rescuers came back with rope, rappelled down, and the dog wouldn't come to them. So then they decided maybe it'll come if we get some beef jerky. That worked hook, line, and sinker. The dog jumped in their arms, ate the beef jerky. They took it out, got it to the vets, cleaned it up, rehydrated it, and now it's going to be adopted soon since it didn't have... You know what? Update. It has been adopted to a totally perfect family. So that's how we'll end it.
that dog.
Big backyard, perfect family. The dog's fine.
Mark, I
That's
don't
a
see
beef
that
jerky
in
it can
the
eat.
story.
That's how we're gonna start your day today. The dog is
I'm
doing
reading
great.
down, and it doesn't.
And look,
The dog is just fine.
the dog
says
is doing
Said he
great.
didn't have a microchip.
He's fine. The dog is fine. He's adopted.
Healthy.
He's
Healthy
doing
as an
great.
ox.
Just like you will today. You're going to go out and conquer the world. Hey, look, we love you all. Thank you so much for listening. Buy a shirt, leave a 5-star review, whatever you can do to help out the boys. We'd appreciate it. But most importantly, have a great fucking day.